Walk into almost any professional kitchen before dinner service begins, and you won't find chefs frantically flipping through recipe books. You'll see them tasting a sauce, smelling freshly chopped herbs, toasting spices in a dry pan, or squeezing a lemon over a simmering stew. They aren't following instructions step by step, they're asking a simple question: what does this dish need? That's the real difference between cooking and simply following a recipe. Great food isn't built from measurements alone. It's built from understanding flavor. Recipes are wonderful teachers, especially when you're learning something new. They introduce us to unfamiliar ingredients and techniques. But recipes also have limits. They can't tell you if today's tomatoes are sweeter than yesterday's, whether your cumin has been sitting in the cupboard for 3 years, or if the lemon you just cut is unusually tart. Professional chefs know that ingredients constantly change, so they rely on something more flexible than recipes. They rely on balance. Think about the last meal that truly impressed you. Chances are, you didn't remember every ingredient. What you remembered was how everything worked together. Maybe it was bright yet comforting. Rich but not heavy. Spicy without being overwhelming. That's because your brain experiences food as a complete picture rather than a list of ingredients. Great cooks aren't trying to add more flavors, they're trying to create harmony. Let's start with sweetness, because it's hiding in places many people never notice. Sweetness isn't just sugar sprinkled over desserts. It's what happens when onions slowly caramelize until they turn golden and jam-like. It's the deep flavor of roasted carrots, sweet potatoes, roasted garlic, or perfectly ripe tomatoes. Heat transforms natural sugars, creating complexity that makes a dish feel rounder and more satisfying without adding a single spoonful of sugar. Now imagine tasting a rich beef stew. It's warm, comforting, and deeply savory, but after a few bites, something feels missing. Then someone squeezes in a little lemon juice. Suddenly, the entire dish seems brighter. The herbs become more noticeable. The vegetables taste fresher. The meat feels less heavy. Nothing magical happened. Acidity simply woke up flavors that were already there. Sometimes the difference between a good dish and a great one is only a teaspoon of acid. Salt has a strange reputation. Some people avoid it completely, while others add it without thinking. Chefs see it differently. To them, salt isn't there to dominate the dish, it's there to reveal it. A small pinch can make tomatoes taste sweeter, reduce bitterness in leafy greens, and even make chocolate desserts taste richer. The secret isn't adding a lot of salt. It's adding the right amount at the right moment. Then there's bitterness, the flavor many home cooks spend years trying to eliminate. But bitterness isn't the enemy. Coffee would lose its character without it. Dark chocolate would taste flat. Arugula, kale, grapefruit, and many spices depend on gentle bitterness to create contrast. Like the bass notes in music, bitterness gives depth to the flavors around it. Balanced correctly, it makes everything else more interesting. If sweetness, acidity, saltiness, and bitterness are the foundation, then umami is what gives food its soul. It's the satisfying richness that makes you reach for another bite without really knowing why. Slow-cooked mushrooms, aged parmesan, soy sauce, miso, tomatoes, anchovies, and roasted meats all share this remarkable quality. Around the world, many traditional cuisines unknowingly layered several umami-rich ingredients together centuries before scientists gave the taste a name. Now let's talk about the stars of this channel, spices. Before a spice ever reaches your tongue, it introduces itself through aroma. Crush a cardamom pod between your fingers. Grind fresh black pepper. Toast cumin seeds for 30 seconds. The kitchen instantly fills with fragrance. That's because spices are tiny containers packed with aromatic oils, and those aromas shape much of what we perceive as flavor. It's one of the reasons freshly ground spices can completely transform an ordinary meal. Texture is another ingredient, even though you can't buy it in a jar. Imagine creamy mashed potatoes without butter, crunchy bread, or crispy onions. The flavor might still be good, but the experience feels incomplete. Great meals often combine smooth with crunchy, tender with crisp, creamy with fresh. Our brains enjoy contrast just as much as they enjoy good seasoning. Here's a habit you can borrow from every professional kitchen. Stop asking, "What ingredient should I add?" Instead, ask, "What's missing?" Does the dish need brightness? More warmth? A fresh aroma? A little sweetness? A touch of spice? This small change in thinking turns cooking into problem-solving instead of guesswork. One of the fastest ways to become a better cook is also the simplest: taste constantly. Professional chefs don't wait until a dish reaches the table before deciding whether it's good. They taste while onions soften, after spices bloom, when stock is added, and again before serving. Every spoonful is a conversation with the food, revealing what it needs next. That's how small adjustments become unforgettable meals. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: recipes describe what someone else did on one particular day with one particular set of ingredients. Understanding flavor gives you something far more valuable. It gives you confidence. Confidence to swap rosemary for thyme, to add yogurt instead of cream, to finish a soup with lime instead of vinegar, or to create a meal from whatever happens to be in your refrigerator. Cooking without recipes doesn't mean ignoring them. It means graduating from them. Just as a musician eventually learns to improvise after mastering the basics, every great cook reaches a point where instinct begins to replace strict instructions. That's when cooking becomes less about copying and more about creating. The best cooks in the world don't memorize thousands of recipes. They recognize patterns. They understand balance. They know how sweetness softens bitterness, how acid brightens richness, how spices build aroma, and how a final handful of fresh herbs can completely change a dish. Once you begin seeing food through that lens, you'll never look at cooking the same way again.